Dan has Star Wars on Laserdisc, I think.
Oh my gosh. Old technology, the best. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. The next one is, speaking of technology, Robot Uprising, AI Takeover.
All right.
Okay, this is...
Google.
Yeah, just call it Google. Don't even call it Robot Uprising. Okay, let's start first with, the classic Terminator. You said, I know you talked about this.
I was going to say, did you guys ever watch the new one?
I didn't watch it since you told me. Now, it came out, it just recently came out on
Genesis,
Blu-ray. Yeah, or is it called Genesis?
Genesis, yeah.
And you're still a big fan of it?
Oh, great.
Did you see it again or no?
No.
You only need to see it once?
I'm not going to.
Is it good?
He said it was good. He talked about it once on the
good.
podcast.
Yeah. It was really good. All the Terminator. It was 1, 2, and 5. That's all you need to watch. It was really, really good. You need to watch it.
I mean, doesn't every Terminator movie just cancel out the Terminator before it?
Yeah, but
Can
I heard...
spoil it at this point?
Okay, it's been... Well, yeah, go ahead, because I'm not going to probably watch it. And I'm not going to watch it for the... Let's be honest, I'm not going to watch it for the story. I'm going to watch it for the action.
Right. So, yeah, this one does not end that way. They actually solve the problem, and they fix everything.
Oh.
How'd they fix it?
So they make time machines or whatever,
right.
And they go back in time and they destroy the time machine. And then he being the main
like John Connor's buddy, right?
Yeah, it's not John Connor in this.
Okay,
it's Sarah Connor's
because John
back.
Connor's a robot.
Okay, so it's John. I know it's John Connor's kid. It's John Connor's kid.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Jr.
Okay. And then I'm pretty sure it's a kid. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I thought it was like his next
John
in
O'Connor
command
goes
or
back.
something.
Yeah, it's his next in command.
Yeah.
It's John O'Connor's father because it's the whole time travel thing. So it's really Sarah O'Connor has a kid with this guy, and that becomes John O'Connor. And then when John O'Connor gets older, it's his second in command because he knows that's his father. So there's like this
it makes so much
circular thing, right? But anyway,
You're gonna send me to my room, Dad.
So John O'Connor he becomes a robot. He becomes the Terminator or whatever.
Yeah,
but at the end, he goes back in time and tells himself as a kid, like, that Genesis is this other company, and to stop them, and then they actually stop them, and it stops the whole rotation thing. Like,
finally.
So Skynet is different than
Skynet
Genesis?
is Genesis. That's what he tells himself.
Okay.
So like he's
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
So he tells his child self Skynet is Genesis, so he can stop it before it happens, and then it just like this whole.
Yeah, but there's supposed to be other movies. Like this is supposed to be kind of not, I guess, a reboot.
No,
I don't know.
It's in the same.
It's still a sequel, but
that's the best thing about time travel in movies. You
can always undo it.
Yeah,
but,
look at X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was the best thing that ever happened to that series.
Exactly.
But no, it's really it was well done. I felt like they put a bow on it nicely. Well, because here's the deal: the people who own Terminator right now are losing their contract or their ownership of it.
I thought they just got this from somebody else.
It's reverting back to someone else.
This was like their last chance. So if I were to have the last chance of a movie, I'd wrap it up too. I'd be like, screw you. I'm like, good luck. Here's your Terminator series back. All
right. Well, now moving on from Terminator, since it's been wrapped up with a bow. Nice. Let's move on to this one, The Matrix.
Oh, I love the first one so much. I like the first half of the second one. Before it gets weird.
The third one, I remember leaving that movie and going, this is the biggest disappointment of my life. And I didn't get Christmas. And that movie was, I just remember like, wow, I cannot think of a bigger disappointment in my life.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
And even Reloaded was kind of a disappointment by the end of the movie.
Vis-a-vis, Ergo. That's so bad.
We all disappointed.
Yeah, the thing is that those movies just got so far up its own butt. You know what I mean? Like, definitely. It became such a...
Those Wachowskis.
Yeah, now, moving from Wachowski, they did Speed Racer. Which was okay. It was all right. I mean, I don't know how well... First of all, making a Speed Racer movie, like, I'd pass.
Jupiter Ascending, which was garbage. They had that with that show on Netflix. What was it called? Not Super 8. That's a movie. Sense 8 or something like that. Sense 8,
yeah. Well, I think they only did the pilot. I don't think they did all of them. But anyways... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched it yet. But I've actually heard decent things about that. But the first Matrix, which is like,
amazing.
Oh, so awesome.
Yeah, I mean...
And not just like the movie and the story and the acting, but just the cinematography. It was all like the first time we seen bullet time and all that kind of stuff.
Bullet time.
The way they froze it and they spun the cameras. They had like a bunch of cameras.
They created their own rig and all that stuff that's never been done before. So.
Every time we play Grand Theft Auto online, me and Gerald, we always get on a motorcycle.
You told me never to go on the freeway.
You go opposite direction on the freeway, and we all just go do the song.
Oh my God.
So lots of fun with that movie. But yeah, they actually built a giant highway. I think that movie cost, at the time it got made, it was by far like leaps and bounds the most expensive movie ever made.
How many people like threw their back out doing this? Like,
see, now you gotta come watch the video. We used to show that scene at Bose all the time when we were at Bose, trying to sell surround sound systems, because it sounds really great, but those movies all have this green filter over it. So like we would spend hours desperately trying to change like the tent and the contrast of the TV to try to make it look like a good picture, because it kind of looks bad.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to look like
when you're in the Matrix.
Yeah. So I just remember hours and hours being spent on like a Philips big screen going through like, okay, turn down the contrast too. All right, turn up the tent too. It's like, oh my gosh. It still looked like garbage, but of course it sounded great and people were like, whoa, he's freezing time. So it sold a lot of systems though. But you guys didn't like the second or third one?
Like I said, the first half or the most of the second one is good until it started getting weird with him and then
I still don't understand the movie. I've watched it a couple times.
Yeah, when he's like, he is Neo in regular life. I mean, it's
how Mr. Smith, a computer, gets implanted into a human. That's weird.
See, that actually I don't think that weird. I think it's just, I don't know, the part where he can start like controlling robots with his mind.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, outside of the Matrix. Like I understood it all when you were in the computer system.
You know what it feels like? I think and they've always said it's a trilogy, but I really feel like that was a one movie.
No,
and then they were like, oh man, we really have to write two more. Oh,
this is way better than we thought. Crap.
Yeah, exactly.
And the architect conversation, like.
Yeah, I get it. I actually get that part of it.
Been done before. And it won't happen again.
Yeah. All right, so
just excessively use large words though, like just for no reason. Like,
yeah, of
they
course.
Just want you to sit there with a dictionary and the whole time, like, oh, okay. What does that say? Oh, okay, I got you.
Okay, so now we will hit our obligatory Will Smith. Apocalypse movie. iRobot. Now I have a quiz. Here we go. Before we start, you guys can work together. What are the 3 laws of robotics?
Never harm a human.
Yep.
Okay, that's number 1.
That's the only one I remember.
All right. Number 2. Come on.
Never kill a human.
No, first one is never harm a human.
Right.
Number 2 is you have to
do what your owner tells you to.
You have
unless it disobeys rule number 1.
Yes, good job. And then the third one. It's kind of a harder one. You have to protect your own existence as long as it doesn't conflict with the first and the second one.
Oh, right. Yeah,
so,
sorry.
And of course, remember the wink?
Yeah.
That was the best part of that movie.
No, iRobot was really cool. For like a futuristic, the way they didn't use like cars. I mean, it's kind of where we're headed with a lot of stuff. It's kind of
creepy, right?
Kind of, what we're going into.
Dude, you know how much stuff I would get done if I didn't have to like drive or pay attention while I was driving?
I can't wait. I will be first in line.
Yeah,
for
me too.
A driverless car. I hate driving.
It's funny because when you're 15, you're like, all I want to do is drive.
I love driving.
To me,
I work from home and I drive twice a week.
That's why. That's why. I don't even live that far from where I work, but I still don't like driving.
It's just a huge responsibility, and like it doesn't even have to be your fault, and your life can be just totally screwed up. Like you can hurt someone can hurt you. You can, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Just like financial liability can be huge. There's just.
This is from the guy.
But you don't think it's fun driving, taking a twisty road kind of quick and no.
If I had like a giant parking lot and I could just do whatever, I could have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy driving really fast. I enjoy going around turns really fast and doing all that.
Hopefully your insurance company isn't listening.
You're right. But because there's everybody else on the road and there's so much, like I said, like responsibility. I
don't mean at the danger of others, but.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's unsafe, and like they say in the movie, they're like, "Oh, this thing's powered by gas. Like this thing's gonna explode." You know, it's like, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't like it myself. But
okay,
yeah, that's where we're headed. We're headed to iRobot.
Exactly, absolutely. I for one will welcome my robot overlords.
Hopefully they're not like Terminator ones.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're like kind of nice.
Yeah, they're not just trying to destroy us, to save us from ourselves. That's always what they go under that premise, you know. Whenever
don't tell me what to do.
Movies, they're like we've looked at everything and you're the problem. We'll destroy you. It's like no. At least in iRobot, they were like, don't destroy us as their main rule. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the robot thing takes time.
Yeah. Well, okay. It was actually pretty interesting. I was reading an article from, what's the guy from Apple that's not Steve Jobs? Wozniak?
Tim Cook?
No, Wozniak. It's the guy who developed it, right?
Yeah.
So, when he was back in the day, people were always like, hey, you guys are like developing like pretty intense computers. Don't you worry that they're going to take over the world? He's like, no, because he was trying to sell it. And now he's asked like, years and he's like, oh yeah, definitely.
It's
like,
a problem.
It's a big problem. I mean, even Stephen Hawking.
Elon Musk is like, Stephen Hawking got on record being like, listen, we need to figure this out now. Like, it's cool and stuff, driverless cars and AI, and Watson, kind of big thing. I mean, it's all really cool and it helps, but we gotta be careful.
First he learns Bob Dylan songs and then he kills us all.
Speaking of Steve Hawking and the alien thing, we didn't talk about it earlier, but like, have you ever heard his like? Because we like spew out radio waves and stuff, saying like,
"Oh yeah,
can you hear us?" and stuff.
Yeah,
like he's like, "Yeah, don't do that." He's like, "We need to be like quiet and just like do not let people know we're here." I don't think it's a good idea at all. But yeah, if Steve Hawking doesn't think it's a good idea, we shouldn't be doing it.
Well, he says he actually is on the record. He's like, yeah, within the next 100 years, robots will take over if we don't do anything about it.
Have you seen the YouTube video "Humans Need Not Apply"?
No, guys.
It's very depressing.
It is.
Okay, so give me a synopsis.
Awesome.
What is it?
Well, they're talking about AI and robots and like things like driverless cars, how they're going to eliminate jobs, right? So
they already. Well, this is another article I read. They're not, as of right now. They're saying they're not really eliminating jobs; they're just transforming jobs because you have to create the things to maintain them and build them.
But say truckers, right? It's a low income. I don't want to shame.
I think actually, if you
driving trucks,
if you own your truck, you make good money. That's the
I know,
trick.
but it's when there's driverless trucks, all those people are going to be out of work, and it's not like those people are going to build the trucks now.
Plus, there's like time. It's not just truck. It's like in shipping and just handling in general, like just moving things in warehouses.
Yeah, Amazon already has that.
All that stuff.
Amazon has that,
and that's what this video is saying. He's like, this isn't. We're not talking about the future. We're talking about right now. Like everybody, your jobs are going away right now.
I want to see a robot do this podcast because they're probably.
Well, there are like AI programs that are writing news reports, writing books.
Right.
There are AI programs being developed to like write depositions and stuff like that. Exactly.
After your Final Fantasy, or not Final, I always say Final Fantasy football, but it's fantasy football. After your fantasy football draft, there'll be like a grade how you did. Yeah. Like, that's all automated. Like there's no guy grading your stuff. They're all
computer programs.
Oh, that's sad.
But they make a funny correlation in there too, because he's like, if you were talking to horses in like the early 1900s and they were just coming out with like the cars and stuff, the horses were like, "This is great. Like I don't have to do nearly as much anymore.
I don't have to work anymore.
This is great." And they're like, "Well, what about your job?" And they're like, "Oh, don't worry, there'll be other jobs for us to do." And it's like now horses are completely unemployable, like, and their population is like lower than it's ever been in history of like mankind. So
that's what you say.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's a transformation of jobs. A new industry will pop up because of that. Yes, you lose these jobs, but
they address that in this video.
Oh, they do. I'll have to watch it. It's really scary.
It doesn't. They're just out of work.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
There's nowhere to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, they'll all become programmers and program. They're like, yeah, but you can program programs to be programmers.
Right. So that's the problem when you start building the things to do the things that you were going to do. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. So